I got the overwhelming urge to explain to you, before I start, that I have no idea what I'm doing. And how great that is. You know, we have a lot of that as kids. We know nothing. And it's all about curiosity, and we're absorbing everything, and it's all a unique experience. We're doing it for the first time. And it's great, and it's healthy, and, you know, we're truly present. Then we get told if we step out of line, we're doing it wrong. Someone else before us said that wasn't safe, and we punish those that go against that. Get it wrong. It's all right. I've been thinking a lot about that moment, all those little moments, actually. The fear of an elder. And I'm not blaming them. Like, that's what they were taught too. But it is, you know, you can see where those streams of curiosity kind of had to die because someone else's projection of fear was placed as a blockage. And there's a lot going on in each one of us, you know, especially when we start looking into trauma. And it often comes down to the things that we've been taught. And I don't mean just by our parents, I mean by everyone around us, everyone telling us what we should and shouldn't do all the time. Because we think that it's not safe. And even though it's actually done with a lot of love, there's so much damage that comes from the illusion of scarcity. You know, it's not safe. You might get hurt. This is the right way to do it. There's no other way. Yeah, and I wonder what it would have been like, you know, to have the room to explore a little bit, just for a little bit longer in life, what that would have done. If anyone spends time around children who are still in that why stage, still curious, see what you can do to hold space for that, because it's a very pure place they're coming from. They haven't been shamed yet. And shame is a human emotion, man-made. That was just a little ramble from me. Just felt the need to bring that up. Guess my inner child wanted a word. Okay, let's do this. So I might go quiet for a moment whilst that comes in. Oh, and in case you can't tell, I am a little bit poorly. Looks like a lot of the work that we did here to clear the throat issues has meant that I potentially have caused myself a little bit of an upgrade, which is now what I'm calling it. Every time that I get a little bit sick, I'm going to see it as an upgrade, which is exactly what it is. Okay. God, we are chatty Cathy today. I'm not keen on editing this because, again, this is strictly for me to be authentic, practice all of that, But if I do blow my nose, like, bear with, that will be cut. Because no one needs to hear that. Let's face it. Right. Okay. Time to zone in. Hello. Oh, it's good. It's good to feel you. Freer, right? The transformation in such a short space of time is good. Well done. Very proud. Got all the room we can explore in the deeper depths of who you are. and who you could be. Nothing here is off the cards and off the table. There's a bit of noise that's distracting you. That's okay too. It doesn't need to be perfect. You messed up your words. You're a translator. You can't always get it right. There is such a thing as lost in translation. Let it be. So much softness. Good grounds to grow from, like fertilized soil after a heavy rain. Keep committing to taking action, for this is what will produce the fruits, and you can reap what you sow in times to come. Keep showing up authentically and trust those that will hear the messages. It has nothing to do with you. How they receive it is all to do with them. If there is judgment, let it be. It has nothing to do with you. The actions you're taking is to do with you and your growth and your expansion. That's your responsibility. Outside of that, you're not responsible for the repercussions that lay outside of your remit of control. Though it is enjoyable, nonetheless, when you know that you're showing up for yourself. Because only good can come when you realize there wasn't anything to be afraid of in the first place. That freedom you've been striving for so long, you've been made to believe that it comes in the guise of a coin. Well, not these days anyway. A fictitious digital aspect of currency, which seems to fluctuate anyway. How unstable is that? Security doesn't come from the things that you've been led to believe. It comes from you. You have to trust you. It doesn't come from outside of you. In fact, that is part of the problem when we start to seek outside of ourselves for the truth, security, stability. A lot of us will never find it because of that. And we settle for what we're familiar with, even if it's really bad for us, which I believe many are starting to see in their bloodlines. how some of the things that our loved ones are suffering with is due to the decisions that they've made under the illusion of security. Your home is not outside of you. Capitalism and patriarchy focus on the external, the container. Or there is a role to be played. It is not all there is. We are not meant to have all of our decisions made for us. Continue to seek inside of yourself and recognize what truth really feels like in your body. It's not for someone else to tell you what the truth is, for we're our own fractal of God. Each one of us is a unique expression of Source. We're all right in our own expression. Everyone has a unique perspective and experience. One's version of events does not need to contradict another's. It can just be that. Don't know why, but chocolate is coming to mind. I had a very nice brownie today with a hot chocolate. I'm being reminded that that was a lovely moment of indulgence. Okay, that's what it is. Yeah. Reward yourself in indulgences. What a blissful place in time to have the capabilities to experience something so luxurious as chocolate. Oh, I think many of us can agree to that. However, addictive tendencies should be monitored because those pockets of time are beautiful when we feel into that moment, when we're truly present with it. Versus the need to escape into a place that makes us revert to something that feels safe, where we seek a sensory experience that makes us feel safe to be here, alive. But indulgence is a very different thing to desperation. Your home inside of you cannot run from. You can place your awareness in different areas, but you'll always come back to the thing that needs your love. And that's you. We want to fill that void with something familiar or exciting, new, tasty, sexy. But it's all outside of you, even knowledge. It's all temporary, really. It's not easy, though, when you don't know how to do that. I'm being invited to recall a memory of when I think I was like in year 2. And it was like this game where there was a box and there was items in the box and 2 holes for your hands to go in, and you were to feel into the nothing, the void, and try to identify what it could be that you've picked up. And there's a similarity to reaching into that void inside of you that you're running away from. I can't quite tell which one I'm thinking about now. the box or the void. We'll see what I have to say and compare. It was always a fun game because you don't realise how things feel. Like, so you're so used to just looking at them. But when you tune into the feeling of something, it identifies differently almost, because you're mapping it out in a whole new way. And it's a learning. You're scanning and you're learning how to identify something from within. Yeah, okay, I know why they showed me this. I hope you can tell as well. I feel like that really worked as a good analogy. Thank you. And it comes back to the thing I spoke about earlier, curiosity, and being a curious child. And even though we're so small and fresh, things can be scary, but it's almost like we don't really think of things as scary to the extent that we do when we're adults. We haven't quite conceived of the whole "this could kill me" way of thinking. We're very much still in that curious mindset. And the only thing waiting for you in that void is you. And you deserve love. The many parts of you, they deserve love. Sometimes love is as simple as showing up. You know, you don't necessarily need to do anything to make it better. Some things can't be fixed. Some things don't need to be fixed. Your story is perfect. You just gotta own it. Yeah. You're beautiful. Lots of chocolate. Oh. I'm sat here right now with my hot water bottle as well. Even though I'm upgrading with a sniffly nose that needs a little tissue attention right now, I feel very cared for. I'm not expecting that from anybody else right now. It is just me and me. It's funny how you don't realise that you don't really even need a lot to feel cared for. You just need take those little 5 minutes every now and then to go, what do you want? What would make you have a nice experience right now? What would feel good? What sense would lift you just a little out of the dark? Because we don't need to suffer. Don't get me wrong. Like, I am all for a good purge. But as we've gone over the whole void, I've made friends with many in the dark. And I will continue to visit that place. And I will bring gifts, and I will bring my awareness, and I will sit there, and I will just let it be. I will feel it. And do you know what? That's all it needs. Just to be acknowledged. I think we can all understand that. The power of being acknowledged and met with compassion. It's really powerful, actually, that word, compassion. You can gift that to yourself at any point. I mean, we're all playing roles all the time. But the victim is something that never pays off. No one owes you anything. You owe you everything. It is your duty. Trust yourself. Hold yourself. Meet yourself. Go within. Celebrate in the light. And hold space in the dark. Like a heartbeat, that wave, the high and the low, you see it? It's a rhythm. We're doing that all the time. Up and down, up and down. That is our nature. And if you was to try to control it, it starts to get a little bit uncomfortable. It doesn't work. It goes off beat. It's got to just flow organically. It doesn't think, I can't cry right now, I've got work in the morning. It doesn't think like that. It doesn't think like that. It doesn't think. You are nature. There is no right and wrong. It's like I want a little move like a snake or something. It's like I'm losing the words now. I think we're coming to the end. Okay, one last thing. And it's to do with revisiting some of the wisdom that you overlooked as a child. And I don't mean wisdom from outside of you. I mean your wisdom that you came into the world with. There might be some old drawings that you made as a kid, or I don't know, like some records of some of the things you'd said. Ask your parents or childhood friends if there's any moments that they can recall, because there's something there. When I was a kid, I was forever drawing, and something that keeps coming up for me at the moment, which I know is worth me exploring, is I used to draw this snake, and she was a mama snake, but she was really big. I was obsessed with things being huge. I used to always draw stuff, and then in the corner of the picture I would put like a little tiny little human, and then, you know, that would be that's how big it is. There's you. That is the big thing. I just kept drawing this snake over and over and over and over again. But I knew that this snake was so huge that humans couldn't even see them. So massive that they were almost blind to us, humans. And what this mama snake was doing is she was in the sky, and she was protecting a portal from one world into this world, like a guardian, you know. Only good things that were meant for this world came through. She had to govern that. And yeah, just revisiting that. I was a kid, and that was in my little world, and I was sketching that all the time. Yeah, anyway, just wanted to share that, as I'm sure we've all got our own versions of these things, and it takes a little pokey poke to bring them back into your awareness, but I'm sure something will, and perhaps just hearing me mention that maybe will evoke something, who knows, something might come up. Little prodigies that we once were before it was stamped out of us because someone else said it wasn't safe to do so. I think it's time to review if we're thinking for ourselves or if we're letting someone else think for us. Ponder on that, and whether that's actually doing us any good. Because if you're always seeking outside of yourself, the world can seem really confusing, eh? Imagine that feeling of like just constantly wanting someone else to say, yes, okay, I can confirm that this is the right thing because this study here, all this data says so. But then when you lift that veil a little bit and you realise the people doing the study maybe have an agenda, or the numbers have kind of been forked together, and that illusion of what we've been thinking is a fact starts to kind of flake away. I'm not saying discount these things, like I'm a girl of science, but I am a girl of source, and you know what is true. Your body knows what's true. I love a fact, I do. And I also love fantasy and the idea of all the things that could also be true, but we could barely even fathom. There's so much more here than meets the eye. Stay curious. I'm going to go blow my nose. Love you. Bye.